Alafialo molo dumare. So, oh my gosh, there are Black Scots. I want you to hear the honey in what I am about to say. And my take is going to have a number of tangents. So just follow me. If you agree or disagree, engage with the conversation. Drop it in the chat, stitch, duet, whatever. But the conversation must be had, okay? For one, I am a firm believer of growing and expanding our web, our network across the globe of the Black experience. And also, I am a believer of propelling culture forward, right? And in order to do that, you have to have some difficult conversations. And this Black Scottish, Black American, the Black diaspora conversation is a difficult one. Now, of course, we know it's not all of our skin folk that are just negative, but I will say this. I will say that coming from the Black American community as a representative, one of them, I will say that just like we have to get our coons in order, you got to get your coons in order. So it's good to identify the coon up front once they show their face. And I'm saying this because Black Americans have a culture of going across the globe and teaching our cousins on how to bang on the peckerwood. That includes getting our coons in order. You have to identify who that coon is, up front and in public. Now is a great opportunity to do so. The reason being is that when it comes time to choose your side, you know, and the community knows that these are the ones that are on side A, and these are the ones that are on side B. There is a habit of people continuously and perpetually choosing the wrong side of history, so you make it known up front. We have that ability. We are telepathic. We do have foresight. When they present themselves, put them out there. That's a coon. Having said that, I repeat, Black Americans, we are the only ones that have maintained our desire to be Black American. The entire Pan-African movement came out of Black America and then went to the continent. And this is not to say that there aren't struggles and there weren't resistive measures that occurred that was outside of Black America, because no, we will never forget Haiti. We will never forget Jamaica. We will never forget Burkina Faso. We will never forget Ghana. There are certain areas that plays a significant role in our history as a collective. However, we must remember that when it came time for us to get learning, when we got our learning, there's only one demographic that left and went back. And we've gone to every continent and just about every country where there is Black-skinned people and taught them not only on the tactics of dealing with our shared oppressor, but how to bang on it. I'm gonna put it out there. There's very small circles where this discussion is had, but Black Americans, we're the only ones that have not been colonized. Let that sink in. We are an occupied people, but we are not colonized. So much so that every 3 to 7 years, our government have to reinvent laws, have to republish laws, repass laws, update laws on how to suppress us. We are occupied, but we have not been colonized. We're the only ones that have not been colonized. And we're not talking about in the sense that Ethiopia hasn't been colonized, because again, they haven't been occupied, but we are occupied. And at the same time, we are banging on that peck of wood. They cannot colonize us. They're trying every tactic. They can't. What they've settled for is just occupying. We're occupied over here. This is why the propaganda is to inform you to stay away from us, right? Because they haven't figured out how to colonize us, even with all the stripping of culture. And I say stripping with air quotes because we've maintained, and that's another conversation, but even with the stripping of culture and the separation from our people, that's why the propaganda is always for y'all to stay away from us, because we know better. You can't keep us from our folk. Even when you come over here and we see you, we know you're not one of us. It's always something that gives off, whether it's always something, but we're still family. And that's how Black Americans that's our outlook. We're all family. It's not until you open your mouth and then we realize, oh, my bad. Just like this Black Scott conversation. And it's something that has repeatedly happened. So again, like I said, it's not all. Get your coons in order though. But this brings us full circle because again, as an Isheshe priestess, I cannot ignore, I can't forget either, the fact that there was a time where Black Americans is what maintained the vitality of Ifa. Even the language of Yoruba, there have been efforts to, they had to implement efforts to fortify the language and culture because it was dying on the continent. But it was Black Americans, it was the Black American thirst for knowledge, our thirst for enlightenment, our thirst for elevation that re-sparked Ifa's prominence. And how we were repaid was the prioritizing of Hispanic, anti-Black Hispanic babalawos, as well as for a long time, they wouldn't even print shit in English. Why? They didn't want us to be able to learn what was happening. I remember this though. You could find it in Spanish, you can find it in Yoruba, but it's not until recent, and I mean very recent, where you are finding documents in English. Because I was told to my face, they did not want to they wanted to maintain that separation because even according to Ifa, certain Babalawos, Black Americans are a cursed people. Again, that's a conversation that many of us don't want to have, but I remember. So one thing that we are not going to do anymore, that the reason why these discussions have to be had is because Black Americans, we're going to stop lending our benevolence. Does that make sense? Is that resonating? Because again, the reason why many of our cousins are not seen prominently is because Black Americans haven't elevated. We have the ability to animate. All Black people on the globe have the ability to animate. But for some reason, when the Black American gets their hand on it, it's through the moon. It skyrockets. Our culture, our language, our mores, y'all, some of y'all niggas. And that's not a bad thing, right? Because from what I understand, niggas gonna do nigga shit wherever niggas are. I love that about us. I love that. I love it. Even NASA said these aliens are 7 foot Black Americans. Like, it's a vibe. It's lit over here. But y'all coons, man, get them in check. If we haven't taught you anything, get those coons in check. I even had one Black Brit, one Black British woman told me, oh, it's just because, you haven't accepted European culture. You're damn right. We don't want to accept European. We're the only ones we don't want to accept it. No, it's always bang on that fucking peckerwood over here. And this is another reason why, in many cases, respect is given for the knowledge. But if you haven't, without ceasing, gone head to head with this oppressor, stood 10 toes down against the oppression of our people, you cannot teach me that fire burns, and that's from our ancestry. That fire burns. Yes, give thanks for the knowledge and respect for that knowledge. But you cannot tell me how to structure life over here because it is us that had to go back and tell you.